Here we go. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm here with the lovely and amazing, beautiful, intuitive healer, mentor, and coach, Miss Emily Reynolds.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Joanna. Happy Monday, my favorite day of the week.
Lucky you. I always like Friday better, but somebody's got to like Monday.
I am happy to do the job.
All right, well, we're really excited to hear some of the amazing things that you share, not just by being and living your life, but the things that you share with your clients, with the world around you, and all of the things that you've learned from a place of knowing through the walks that you've taken in your life. I'm really, really thrilled to connect with you today and have you share that story and how it has unfolded in your life and created a sense of well-being for you.
Yeah, well, thank you. As they say, hindsight is 20/20. Sometimes you don't even know when you're going through, especially hard times, which people are going through right now. It's like a storm. When you're going through a storm, sometimes you don't know until it's all over what the lessons really were. And it's so important to reflect on because, as so many of us know, during our hardest times, we become the strongest version of ourselves, the best version of ourselves. And I have had many great awakenings in my life, and having Graves' disease was the biggest great awakening of my life. But having my health taken away from me, it's not even just about having Graves' disease. I feel like anybody who suffered with any kind of health condition can relate to this, because when you have something so precious, yet so we take for granted, when you have it stripped away from you, nothing else matters. And it's so...
Emily, could you tell us what Graves' disease is?
Sure,
for those
absolutely.
of us that might not know.
Yeah, Graves' disease is an autoimmune disorder that affects the thyroid. So there's hyperthyroid, there's hypothyroid. Hyper is an overactive thyroid. Hypo is an underactive. And there's all sorts of different, there's Hashimoto's, which is an up and down. Graves' disease is a very hyperactive thyroid. And gosh, I mean, we could sit here for the whole half an hour talking about the symptoms of it. But basically, an overactive thyroid, your thyroid is like a second brain. It controls everything plus some. So your whole entire body is in a hyper state, which is dangerous. Dangerous for your heart, dangerous for your metabolism, your well-being. So it's a pretty chronic, pretty debilitating chronic illness, but an autoimmune disease.
How did having Graves' disease affect you? Did you have this all of your childhood and through your adulthood? How did it affect your life? And when were you able to find remedy for it and heal so lovely as you did?
Yeah, super good question. I was diagnosed with it in my early 20s, but now knowing what I know, I had it definitely about 20 years old. I had all the signs and symptoms. I get my blood work and they're like, wow, you have a very overactive thyroid. But it was a doctor who was actually on her way out and retiring. So I think she did a little bit of the, don't worry, it just means you can eat whatever you want. I mean, I was skinny. And I was like, okay, well, she completely disregarded how horrible I feel. But, you know, I'm 20, 21. I'm like, you're right, I can eat whatever I want. So I disregarded it. But it got progressively worse. So by the time I was 22, it was debilitating. So I didn't have it in childhood. Men get it too, but it's mostly women that get Graves' disease and thyroid disorders. And I really didn't overcome Graves' disease until my 30s. So until I was about 30. So it was a good, I say a solid 7 years of it taking kind of control of my life.
And when did you start to just say, I've had enough, this isn't working, I need to figure this out? Like, what was that moment for you? What was that like?
You know, it's like how they say everybody remembers where they were on the tragic day of 9/11.
Oh.
that is like that day for me. For my person. I was at a doctor's office who came, she very highly recommended as a specialist, the best of the best. And she said, I don't think you understand. You probably won't make it till 30. You won't make it to the age of 30.
Wow.
You will most likely die of a heart attack. And that's when I was like, you know what? That's when I started really getting in touch with myself and my body. It was like everything about those words and that interaction, it felt horrible and it wasn't right. And my body was just like, no, none of these medications have worked, have helped me, healed me. They've all come with other side effects and other issues. And I just kept getting the diagnosis wrapped one on top of another. Diverticulitis, lupus, fibromyalgia. I mean, it was just overwhelming. And when she said death, I said, forget it. I'm going with people that believe in healing. I'm only going to listen to positive. And I literally said to myself, I'm firing all my doctors. I'm done. Graves' disease is not going to be part of who I am. And that's when it was like the gates of heaven opened up and I just saw everything in a different light. It was still hard. It was still a major journey. That wasn't the point I healed, but it was the point that my mind took a turn. And that's when my body followed.
So what was the first healer and holistic modality that you used or experienced that kind of triggered and launched you into this journey?
Oh gosh. If you talk about a diet, a fat-free, this cleanse, that, I've done it all.
What's your favorite? I've done it too. It's fun, right? There's a lot of funny stories.
There's so many, and some people are like, "You put what? Where?" Hands down, vegetable juicing. Hands down, vegetable juicing. Absolutely. And some people have seen, at this point, hopefully most of the world has seen Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. That wasn't out at the time.
Wait, say that one more time. Tell as if no one has seen it, because I haven't.
Good point.
Tell me again. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go ahead and write this in our comments.
Sure. There's a documentary called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead.
Oh, what a title.
Who heals himself through juicing, and he goes across the country sharing this and helps other people heal. This documentary was not out at the time, but I came across vegetable juicing through Dr. Max Gerson's plan.
Okay.
Max Gerson Institute, Cancer Healing Institute. And
what is Max's, Dr. Max, what's his last name?
Gerson, Gerson.
Yes, the Gerson Center, that's right.
The Gerson method, man, I was just like, you know what? This might be for cancer, but at that point I had realized I was diagnosed with so many things. I mean, gluten intolerance, irritable bowel. I'm like, okay, so I have all these bowel problems. Now I have this thyroid problem. Then I had heart palpitations and heart problems, and I couldn't sleep. And then they're like, you're depressed. And I'm like, wouldn't you be too?
Well, and no wonder everything was failing, because your body was not in homeostasis. It was so out of balance. It was triggered everywhere. That totally makes sense.
And it might start here. And then when you don't have the proper mechanisms to heal, then it goes somewhere else and it puts up another red flag. No, that wasn't it. We really got a problem.
Absolutely. And I always say the body is a communication system. And just like a healthy relationship, you have to communicate well. Yep. And, I know that the idea of let's just not talk about it and it'll go away sounds great. But denial really never solves anything. It just holds it in a space so that things can bottle up until something happens, something little, and then it just explodes. And then all of a sudden you have all these symptoms and all these problems. So the body likes to communicate as much as our mouths do. And in order to have a healthy relationship with yourself and your body, it's so important to listen to it. And that's what you are really great at leading others in. Tell us how you have learned to listen to yourself and what that has done for you, and how you lead your clients to greatness from that intuition.
Yeah, well, I love that you asked me that question. When was the moment that I realized, I need to do something. It was listening to my body, just everything. And I didn't know at the moment what that really meant. But when you have so many doctor's appointments and diagnosis and so much, frankly, for lack of a better term, negative information that leads you to nowhere. I mean, a path of negativity leading you to nowhere. Right. You keep hitting these brick walls of nothing. It gets worse. I said, okay, I can join a team of people who don't believe that this is something I can heal. And I can go to groups where people talk and share all their problems, or I can join the people who are healing. And when I found Max Gerson, I was like, there are people who have first-stage cancer and are told they got days to live, and they're healed. And I said, I want some of that. That's who I am. But it starts in your mentality. So it was everything in my body said, this path I'm going, this traditional medical doctor path, it's not working for me. It's not working for my body. It's not working for my soul. It didn't feel right. Everything about this new path felt right. It doesn't mean to say that I didn't try a certain modality or go to a particular naturopath and do something that did nothing. You know, not every supplement's going to have the magic powers they say on the infomercial. You know, but it doesn't mean it was bad. So I continued trying more, but my heart was always just like, yes. I became so powerful again in my belief in myself. And I gotta tell you, I had to put blinders on and block out all naysayers. I had to reevaluate all toxic things in my life. And people can be very toxic for your healing. So I had to do a lot of that.
Well, and I know that, oftentimes I hear people, that want to do a quick weight loss. They'll say, oh, I'm juicing or I'm doing a juice cleanse. And I love asking them, really, what are you cleansing?
Yeah.
And they'll say, I don't know, I think this is like a liver detox or something. So I giggle with you on this because oftentimes juicing is used for this fancy trend to maybe lose, bloat, or trim your waistline prior to an event. But really, the ancient modality of healing in juicing goes far more than having a tiny waist or reducing inflammation from, overeating maybe the night before.
Right. Those are positive side effects of what your body is begging you to do.
So I remember I asked you this question many years ago when you and I connected, and I should share that story. And that was a time in which I was training as a fitness competitor, and I was on a very intense 6 meals a day trying to gain all this muscle and lean out and all this protein, this meat protein, and all. I mean, I was eating so much food. I was like, I can't eat anymore. And the hardest part about it is my body was rejecting it because for me, my body wasn't able to digest that quickly and eliminate what it was. So it was holding. And so when I came to you, because I was having cramps and I was feeling very toxic and my hormones were all over the place, I ended up in the hospital and you had said, stop eating. You're going to go to the store and you're going to pick up all these green vegetables. You're going to get coconut oil. You're going to get garlic. You gave me a little list and I was like, what am I doing? But I was so desperate to heal. I was willing to try it. And you're right. A week later, I was a brand new person. It's very healing. Tell everyone why.
Well, and for you, I would say we have to be our own best friend and congratulate ourselves when we overcome the stigmas that are out there, when we go against the grain, when we don't listen to the fads. It's like pat yourself on the back for trying something that's outside of the box.
That's right.
So, congratulations. Our body needs a break. Our stomachs need a break. My stomach was very similar at for a very long time at one point with the Graves' disease. So that's why I got the whole irritable bowel, Crohn's disease, diverticulitis, because there's all the stomach things going on. They're putting in soy and chemicals and a lot of meat, and the dairy is, hormones, blood, pus, antibiotics. I mean, this is just a fact, people. This is what these foods have in them, and they're putting them into your body. So if you are what you eat, which is so true, then you become those things, and that's not a natural state for the body, especially when it's over time. You could do this for years and do a cleanse. You're not going to get rid of all that toxicity. It takes more than a week or two. Yeah. Not trash. It's great that people start. You got to start somewhere. Even if you start small, good for you. But your body is toxic and it can't process all this, and this is not what we're meant to be doing. And I mean, we naturally as humans would be in a fasting state because, we didn't have grocery stores. Sometimes all there was berries and some leaves and some mushrooms. So we ate vegan and maybe little bits. Maybe one a day there wasn't food and you just drank some water. And then, we kill the buffalo and we get to eat like that for a couple days. That's nature. I mean, I know humans have evolved and all that, but we will never, as natural living, breathing beings, evolve to a state where toxic chemicals are something we thrive on. And people need to remember that. Just because it's put out there on the shelves and it's advertised and billions of dollars are thrown at it to manipulate you, you don't buy into that, because that is not to help you or to heal you. That's to line somebody's pockets. And unfortunately, that's why we have a country and multiple different countries that are following in our footsteps. Cancer, diabetes, thyroid disorders, depression, anxiety. The number one thing is your food and your water and your mental state. So what are you feeding yourself? What are you feeding your mind? What are you feeding your body?
That's right. And that's right. And and those, what you just said, what are you feeding your body? And I think the most important thing for anyone to ever realize, and it takes a moment for them to realize, just like you're sharing and that moment that I shared, realizing what you need, and that what you're feeding your body isn't necessarily coming in a meal. Sometimes what you're feeding your body is in your environment, is in the community of people that you are relating to in relationships, is in where you live. It's more than just what you're feeding in a meal. And all of those chemicals come from toxic relationships, toxic environments. There's a lot of things going on that kind of are communicating with our vessel at any given time through our senses.
This is what I tell people. Let me just break it down to something that will scare the living idea out of you. You wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? And somebody walks me through the routine, and we're all different beings, but pretty similar with our morning routine. You wake up, you brush your teeth with some fluoride toothpaste that's got tons of chemicals and colors.
I know where you're going with this. Yes, I know where you're going with this.
A plastic bristle toothbrush, which is, cancer causing. And then you jump in the shower and you take your Suave shampoo, and you scrub your hair with toxic chemicals and parabens. And then you take your biggest organ, your beautiful skin, and you scrub that skin down with your Irish Spring soap to smell amazing.
Yes.
Your biggest organ. That's affecting your liver, your kidneys, everything.
Say that again. Your biggest organ is what?
Your skin.
Your skin. That's it. And we are constantly feeding it toxins all day long.
Yep. And the water. Let's talk about, what does your sewer system have in it? What does your city put in their water? You're putting that onto your skin, into your body, in your organs. It becomes you. Then you get out and you put on deodorant. You put on that antiperspirant, that aluminum, the neurotoxin, aluminum, and
you just rubbing it in there, rubbing it.
You don't want to smell.
Yeah.
And everybody's got to wear deodorant, right? We get it. But you're putting it in your mammary gland. Men have breast cancer. Women have breast cancer. Let's just stop there. Are you freaked out yet?
Yeah, well, and that's the whole thing. So we have Rose Polowitz on. She just chimed in, and she said something really great. And I would love you to speak to this. And I know that you're going to get where she's at. And her question is, or her statement is, perhaps, we overcomplicate things because we are overwhelmed with too much information.
Yes.
And it's so true, right? Sometimes if you turn the news off, you're not overwhelmed with all the stress that's going on right now in our pandemic. And you can have a day that's a little innocent and fancy and carefree, if you like. It's the same thing with nutrition and all of those toxins that sometimes are feeding us. Absolutely. Instead of the meal. So what do you have to say about all of this information that can be such a cluster? If I can say it just the way I would. How do we make healing and holistic modalities feel easy and simple the way they're meant to be?
Absolutely. We're not alone. We all feel that way. Even Joanna and I still feel that way to a certain extent. At some point, we're all human. Trust me, we're all in this together. But it's a very freeing feeling once you do have information, because knowledge is power, and that's power to make better choices. But this is the thing, Rose. What happens is you see all this information, right? We can't control that. We can't control all the information. Even if you're not a social media or a TV person, you're still getting lots of information from the gym, from your parents. You go to somebody's house, what they're eating. There's so much information. I get it. Mm-hmm. But whatever you see the most of repetitively, and that's what it connects those synapses in your brain, and it becomes your belief system. So whatever and then if you just get overwhelmed and freaked out, your subconscious will kick in, and it will naturally take the belief system you see the most. You might not consciously make that decision, but you're gonna buy what's the easiest, what's the fastest, they got 10 more of this at the grocery store than the other thing, or it's cheaper, so I'm gonna make that decision. So subconsciously, you're almost like in a survival mode, and whatever's there, you do. So one thing you can do is take your own power back and decide, just like I did. Perfect example. It can cross over. I said, I'm not listening to anybody. Doctor, family, friend, nobody who says you can't heal Graves' disease. They're gone. They're out. And that carved my path. If it did not match, I wasn't disrespectful to people. Don't get me wrong. I can be hardcore and get excited. But I would have to mentally block them out. So what you have to do is you have to assert whatever your goal is with your health. I want to be healthy. I want to eat things from the earth. Get on YouTube, get on Google, hang out with some friends, get on a Facebook page that those people have that same goal and that same belief. And it will all of a sudden, this overwhelming world will start to narrow in.
Dissolve.
But you create which way it goes. There's still this big world overwhelming for all of us. But once you say, this is the direction I want my personal body to go, I want my life to go, I want my mind to go, it will narrow things for you, and it will get easier. Trust me. If you're overwhelmed, it's only going to get better from here. So you narrow it, but it's up to you to narrow it by setting your intention.
Absolutely. And intentions are very powerful. I always say that the reason why people succeed in life with whatever they're trying to do, and sometimes people succeed in failing and sabotage too, because they try to. That's where they put their intention. You can be very successful in being negative and upset and angry. So flip that, right? And allow your success to be as empowered in the choices you make, because once you make a decision, let's use a marathon runner. Someone decides they're going to go run a race. They then set a schedule and decide that they're going to plug a certain amount of time every day to achieving that success so that they can create more stamina, a higher pace, eating healthier. And then once they get stronger, they start doing more and more and more and more. Well, that's the epitome of health and wellness. You make a decision to align yourself with healing naturally, with eating from Earth's medicines and using the light and love to heal and provide you that space of knowing. And all of a sudden, when you're in that space of alignment, you'll just notice things show up. Oh, there's that. Oh, there's that. Oh, there. Where have you been this whole time? Well, you have to face in the direction of what you want in order for it to look at you back, right?
Absolutely. All these things, like if I were to be the old Graves disease listening to you, I go, but is meat okay? Or do I have to only eat from the earth? Or what about eggs? No. You didn't get it. You didn't get it. Back up the truck. You will know. Trust me, you will know. There are things, if I told my former self 10 years ago, the things that I do now, they go, who is that person? Yeah. I'm not taking that time. I'm not replacing all my soaps and my this and my that, and I'm not spraying that down, and I'm not going to. No, that would have been overwhelming. It will happen gradually, and it's okay. I still eat pizza. I always joke that pizza is my favorite food group.
Me too.
I'm normal. I'm not sitting here munching on, lettuce all day long. And I would never tell somebody that that's what I do. But when I had to heal, I did have to try things in a more hardcore way, but I never did anything that hurt. I never starved myself. I never ate something disgusting. I had to graduate. You start somewhere. Like you're in kindergarten. If you're just starting to figure out what's actually healthy for me, trust me, you're going to get to college. It's going to happen. The teacher's going to keep passing you. You're going to get there. You're going to graduate. Just don't freak out. Have some fun. And again, all those questions that come in, what about eggs? What about this? Somebody says that you always have to go back to your path. I'm trying to be healthy. And what is your idea of healthy? For me, healthy is balanced. Healthy is every once in a while go out with a friend and have a margarita. I say margarita. And margaritas, like now, I used to love margaritas. Margaritas, if I had more than two, I would have a horrible headache. It would be like, no big deal. It will happen overnight. Your taste buds will change. You're so much more empowered through what you learn. Don't be so insistent on having all the answers now. And continue to congratulate yourself that you're on this path. Like learn a little bit more every day. We're not here to work our 9 to 5s. That's not why we're put on this earth.
Yeah,
That's not why we give the body.
It's so true. And when we have that space of self-discovery, not only does it give us empowerment, but my goodness, when we walk in that place because we know it feels good to us. I remember just being as simple as saying fatigue. And then starting my search, my journey of what can I do to get more energy? What foods give me more energy? What extra, and all of a sudden answer. And then as soon as I tried these things consistently, guess what?
Yep.
I felt more energetic. So the answers are there. You just have to seek them specifically and know that if you're looking for something that's natural, it's going to be simple right off the bat. It shouldn't be complicated. Yeah.
And be open-minded and not super hard on yourself. It's like if you went out dating and you were determined, I have to marry this one, going out on the first date, you're probably going to screw it up. You're probably going to think you're crazy. You want to get married. You go out and you date and you try to see what you like, what you don't like. It's the same thing. You can't screw up. The only failing is not doing anything when you have the burning desire to be better. You can't screw this up. There is no failing. There's no failing. None.
Well, the one thing I always think about when I think of you, bless your heart, you're going to love me when I say all these things, besides being the most beautiful redhead I've ever met.
Oh, thank
you. But you always have made me discover and rediscover coconut oil, sprouts, and coffee.
Yep.
In ways that I never knew existed.
Everyone's I like coffee. I drank coffee today. Does that mean I'm going to live forever? Oh, we're not talking about drinking it.
So maybe you could tell us a little bit about those three things and how they have revolutionized your life and what they could add and offer to others.
Absolutely. Okay, so coconut oil, it's a super healthy fat. I hated coconuts. I love chocolate. I literally hated Almond Joys because they had coconut in it. So again, my taste buds changed. But it was a healthy fat. And what I realized with my thyroid, I was doing fat-free, sugar-free, everything, and had no fat because fat was bad. I think it was the 90s. Fat was bad, fat was bad. And I was listening. I was tuned in. I was listening, and I was doing no fat. But when I had fat, I was finally taking care of my female organs, which our female organs have more fat in them. We have more body fat because of our female organs. So I had things going.
That's very important. I love that you said that. Say that again. Women, say that again. And women forget this all the time when we get so frustrated because male and females have different results. Say that again.
Yeah. Well, we have more body fat to protect our female organs, besides the fact that we have more estrogen than men. So yeah, everybody's in quarantine hating their husband who's losing 15 pounds from not going to the gym, and they're gaining 15 pounds. It's okay, relax. But yeah, we have more body fat because we're bearing children.
And typically that body fat will revolve around those areas that it's protecting the most.
Yep, the midsection, the hips, and I mean, we could get into a whole nother discussion about, that's
in time. Yeah.
We're meant to breathe, whether it's your choice or not. That's just the way that we were, I don't have children myself, but that's what we were meant to be. So coconut oil, I love things that have multiple different uses. So I use coconut oil to oil pull. So I would do oil pulling in the morning. I got rid of my unnatural toxic toothpaste a long time ago, but oil pulling is an ancient Ayurvedic practice where you put oil, usually sesame, but sesame was too strong of a taste, so I put coconut oil, just a scoop, and I swish it around for up to 20 minutes. Sometimes it's only 1 or 2 minutes, but it's to get all the toxins out of my mouth, because the first thing you do in the morning, I forgot the routine, you take a chug of water. No, don't ever do that, people. Don't do that, because toxins are eliminated through perspiration, respiration, defecation, and urination. Okay? So when you're at night, you're sweating and you're breathing, and your toxins actually come to sit on the roof of your mouth and on your tongue. So that's why it's important to brush your teeth, but never take that sip of water first, because you're right back into an empty stomach. So it's like, you're basically like, that's your first meal. I mean, it's gross, but just, you won't forget it now. You'll thank me. It'll be like your first meal is those toxins that we're trying to get out, you swallow them back in. Mm-hmm. So instead, I would put oil in my mouth, swish it around. The oil and the fat collects all the toxins, and then you just spit it out, not into your sink because it's oil. You don't want to clog the sink, either the toilet or trash can, or outdoors. I do it outdoors when I'm walking my dog. It's biodegradable. And then I will brush my teeth. So I love coconut oil because it has so many benefits. And I also had super dry, scaly skin. I mean, really, really bad dry skin. So I would slather myself in coconut oil, and it was so healing for my skin. And I would add it to all my foods, to my eggs. I would cook with it. Got rid of the spam chemical free spray. Do you want chemicals, or do you want a few healthy fat calories? And the coconut oil is actually a fat burning fat. So coconut's my best friend. I mean, I put coconut on everything. So
now, can you also use it to wash your skin or your hair with?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and everybody's different, which that applies to everything across the board. But if you have dry hair also, so if you have dry skin, it's going to go right into your skin. But even I have clients who will put the coconut oil on in the shower, and then they have a hand towel that they just wipe the top, the top residue. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So if you're using, lotions and other products, they're really not penetrating your skin because they're unnatural. They're meant to lay on the surface so your skin looks moist and smells good, because it's to please you, so you buy more. It's not actually for. Coconut oil will penetrate your skin, and it will satisfy that dryness, and it will make your skin luminescent. But if you're an oily skin person, you just wipe it off.
Yeah, it's a great natural sunscreen too. It's wonderful.
It absolutely is. I put it all over me. I don't wear sunscreen. And you can put it on your hair, but you just put it more on the tips of your hair, and you can sleep with it on your hair and then wash it out, because it's going to get your hair oily, but it's going to protect from split ends. I use it on my face at night. Again, I will put it on, and again, if you're going to say your skin's already, kind of oily, you can wipe it off. It's great makeup remover. I will, just in case there are kids here, I'll say I have literally had people say to me that it saved their marriages. I'm not kidding. When women are going through menopause, and they want to be with their partner, it's a great lubricant, hair, skin, nails. It will save your relationship, money back guarantee. There's so many wonderful benefits. And that's the beauty that I started finding, is things in nature were put there for us.
For a reason. Yes. Yes.
And it's exciting. It's so exciting. It's like, thank you. Thank you. Like, this is here for me to use in all these ways. I don't need the pharmaceuticals. I don't need the chemicals. I don't need the aerosols. I don't need the sprays. I don't need it.
Mm-mm. How about Sprouts?
Okay, Sprouts. I probably found out about Sprouts maybe, and I'm not talking about the grocery store, like 5-6 years ago. I wanted to know, and I'm not a vegan. I don't like labels. I don't like political labels. I don't like religious labels. I am me, and I'm discovering new things every single day, and I'm a better version of myself every day. That's the only thing I'll label myself as. But have I gone vegan and eaten all vegan? Yes, absolutely. But when I feel I need some liver because I'll get some bruising, I'll eat a piece of liver. But I've gone vegan for months. And in that, I was like, I want to find out, how do I get more protein? Not just these have high protein. I want more. I want to know. I want to dig deeper and deeper, because knowledge is power, like I say. It never expires. There's so much out there to learn. Mm-hmm. So then all of a sudden, boom, I came across an article about Sprouts. And if you take a nut or a seed in its natural form, not roasted, not cooked, not, it's a natural raw nut or seed, you put it in water and it would increase the protein. And then if it got to the point where it would sprout, if it's raw and uncooked, it will eventually sprout. It would increase the protein up to, and sometimes just over 30%. So I was just like mind blown. So I just started sprouting stuff. Right now I have a bunch of microgreen sprouts, and you can even plant them and grow your own little salad greens. But the protein,
so is there a specific nut or seed that you like to sprout?
I love almonds. I love almonds because, of competing. It was like the low calorie nut that they said like you could eat more of than something else, So I was like, I could soak these almonds and it will increase the protein, and it actually made them softer and they wouldn't get stuck in my teeth.
Well, so sure, when you soak the nuts, it releases those inhibitors, which makes it a great way to digest. It's wonderful. You get to absorb all those nutrients.
I'm glad you said that, because some people will have not an allergy, but they'll have an intolerance, and they'll say, oh, I noticed when I ate this nut or seed, my stomach kind of hurt. And sometimes I have food in my stomach, sometimes I don't. I just noticed it kind of hurts. Sometimes it's the enzymes that need to be released. When you soak, it will release enzymes that make food more digestible. So I like to at least soak chia seeds, hemp seeds, my Brazil nuts, which are high in selenium to support my thyroid, my almonds, my walnuts. Walnuts don't really change when you soak them, but I at least soak, and then I take a lot of stuff and sprout it. And I got more into sprouting now because of the whole quarantine thing, and I'm like, I want to grow my own food and live off the land.
Absolutely. So now, I guess I'm just going to ask you straight out, did you have coffee today?
I did. Okay, so that next vegetable juicing, coffee enemas were completely life-altering for me. Coffee enemas came into my life, learning about them through Gerson therapy, but applying them when I moved to Thailand. So I lived in Thailand for 2 years, and they are so different in the mentality of what to eat and how to heal. I don't know if it's because they're more farms, so they don't have money for pharmaceuticals or whatever, but they go to food more as medicine. And their holistic centers, things are much cheaper. So I found a holistic center that did the coffee enemas, which Gerson talked about, and I was already mentally sold on it. Mm-hmm. But I decided to go, and I had a $12 coffee enema performed by this really wonderful woman that said, "Trust me, you'll be doing them at home in no time." And I was like, "Yeah, right. Oh, yeah."
That's what I said to you when you said this to me. I was like, "You want me to do what?" I will never forget that, but it changed my life. It did. It true fact. I want everyone to really open your ears and listen to this, because as crazy as it sounds, I'm telling you, it's revolutionary.
Oh yeah, I won't talk about anybody in particular, like my boyfriend. No, everybody has had some, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much better I feel about this, or my skin, or my liver enzymes going down, or my energy, or I don't have to take this medication anymore. There's nobody that does it and doesn't tell me, I wish that I had listened to it sooner. I have friends,
that's right,
years and years, I told them to do them. And once they did it, they call me and they're like, I'm never going to stop.
Now, how often, first of all, is there any information that you can share with us on how to do this in a safe way?
Yes. Yeah?
Okay. And is there too many times to do it, or not enough? Like what are the ratios on that?
The only thing that the negative thing that can happen from doing a coffee enema is if you didn't do organic. It's very important to use organic coffee, because coffee is heavily sprayed with pesticides. So if you're inserting it into your rectum to go clean your liver, which I'm going to tell you a little bit about that, how it's to clean your liver. If you're using non-organic, then you're taking those pesticides and putting them in your liver and doing the opposite. So do not use non-organic ever. And you can get rid of, you're going to eliminate toxins and waste and fecal matter. People, by the way, are walking around with 10 pounds of undigested poop in them. Undigested food waste. 10 pounds of poop you're walking around with.
So literally when you say you're full of shit to somebody, they are. Is that what I'm hearing?
Trust me, I'm not. I have so much energy, and I just go, do you want to know the truth? Coffee enemas. You shouldn't have asked.
I'm laughing with you because I share the same thing to people, and the look on people's face, they're mortified. Yeah. But I have no shame in my game, because in times when I am really feeling toxic, or I'm not well, or I feel a cold or a flu or even a headache,
yep,
it's my go-to. I won't take medicine.
Yep.
I will do that before, and it will give me instant relief.
Yep. And if you do research, there's royalty for hundreds of years have been doing this. Princess Diana used it for headaches, depression.
Headaches. I mean, it will instantly, if you have a headache, especially a migraine, like literally you just feel this whole like.
Yeah. I did it for my liver. So what happened was I was competing. By that time I had 2 pro cards. I was on top of the world. Before I moved to Thailand, I was in LA fitness modeling all the time. Like anybody would look at me and go, oh, she's so healthy. And I was huge improvements since having Graves' disease. And I too thought I was so healthy, but I knew I wasn't done. So I had these white bumps, and only my, the woman who did my facials would be able to see them. It wasn't like oh, what are those? They weren't pimples. They were these clear white bumps all around here. And I looked up Chinese face mapping, and it was like kidneys, liver. I was like, okay, I like to fix every problem. I don't want a Band-Aid. I want the freaking cure. And I said, okay, what am I going to do? And then I was like, wait a minute, Gerson talked about coffee enemas. And this article talked about coffee enemas just to clear your skin for like a, a superficial thing. So I went and got my liver enzymes tested, and naturally they're supposed to, a healthy person between 0 and 40. Mine were over 200 at one point. And they said, yeah, you got the liver of an alcoholic. And I was like, what? I don't drink. I'm a pro competitor. Like, what are you talking about? And then my knowledge kicked in. I said, years of swimming in chlorinated pools as a child on swim team, years of using all the toxic chemicals, spray tanning, the medications that I was on for thyroid before I switched to a pig thyroid, a natural one. I was like, yeah, I've never cleansed my liver fully. I've never cleansed my liver. And this is the world's best liver detox. I'm in. I went to my girl in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and she says, oh, I'll teach you how to do it at home. And it was the best experience. I mean, black stuff came out of me. I was like, oh, yeah, I need this. Yeah. So I started, and 2 years of coffee enemas. I didn't really have any major thing that I implemented in my life. I was already juicing and being mostly vegan at the time. 2 years of that, I went and got my liver enzymes tested, and they were 17. I was like, hallelujah. I'm not just normal. I'm the low normal. I'm like the bomb normal.
I went through this revolution myself, and just recently, it's been about 2 years of me really being committed to holistic healing 100%. And I went and had my numbers checked this last year, and they said your numbers across the board on everything are as healthy as an 18-year-old young lady. And I was just like, wow. And I know it's from, the choices that I'm making every day.
Absolutely.
Makes all the difference. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's cumulative. So everybody could understand if their financial consultant said, oh, you want to have X amount of dollars to put away into your 401k, then you have to take this percentage out of your paycheck. Or, if you're saving for a wedding, you got to stop drinking Starbucks twice a day because that's $10 a day and how many dollars at the end of the year. We have to start thinking about our health that way. And it's not just about taking away. It's about putting good things in, and every once in a while you get the bad things. Once you have the knowledge and you identify that they're bad, you're going to want to take them out. You're going to want to
moderation.
So you want to keep putting in the bank account, making those deposits, because trust me, by the time you turn around, you're going to be wealthy, and everyone's going to go to you. What did you invest in?
Health is wealth. Health is wealth. That's my motto for sure. I have a question that's come in from Rose again, and she wants to know what your thought is about mushrooms, collagen protein powder. What is it real deal, or is this just all trendy hype? What's your take on that?
It's funny. The first time I put mushrooms in my coffee every morning. I have a mix of 5 mushrooms, all organic again, that I have in a mason jar, and I put it in my coffee in the morning. Not the butt coffee, the actual drinking coffee.
Now, do the mushrooms just absorb and melt, or is it a powder? What?
It's a powder.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, they're dehydrated mushrooms, so they're all ground up into a powder. And I have a little frother where I put my coconut milk, and then I just put while it's going and warming up and frothing, I put my mushrooms in there. So mushrooms are great for the immune system. And there are resources out there that can teach you way more about this than me. By the way, before I forget, coffee enema, go on emilyreynolds.net blog. You go down to coffee enemas, and there's a blog all about coffee enemas with links on how to, even a video where a girl walks you through a coffee enema setup and how to do it. So,
Emily, when we're done with this, will you post that on our feed as well?
Yeah, for
sure. So that we can get directed to that link right through to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. So mushrooms, my first experience with them before I started taking them was when I had a dog who had seizures and Cushing's disease, and a lot of things that I didn't know at the time, that he was getting sick while I was sick with Graves' disease from his food. And he was an overbred Chihuahua, so he had a lot of genetic issues and stuff, but I was feeding him really bad food. So when I figured out what worked for me would work for my dog, I changed all my dog's food, and I was giving him medical mushrooms. Um, excuse me, not medical at the time. They were MRM, a local company in San Marcos, but they were powdered mushrooms. And I gave them to all my dogs. Their hair started growing like crazy, like hair growing out of their ears. It was like they were sprouting hair. All of them. It was like hair everywhere. So I'm like, well, it's working on something. It's growing. So what they say is that mushrooms will, they're almost like a detector in your body. Whatever needs healing, the mushrooms will focus on. Again, there's more resources out there, and I look forward to learning more about them myself. But from what I read, my experience with my dogs, I was like, you know what? It's a great food to add to my coffee so I can have the mushrooms every single day. And collagen. Collagen is amazing too, and I didn't know what I felt about it until I moved to Thailand, and collagen's in everything. And I started taking it myself more for bodybuilding injuries. And I would notice I would heal so fast when I was taking collagen. And for me, I like to do one thing at a time. I don't get hyped up on a bunch of products, take them all, and then I go, I hope they're working. I really want to know if it's working. And I want to ask everybody their opinion that I refer to the certain products, even if I've used them myself. Collagen for repair. It heals your hair, your nails, your skin, but it also repairs muscle tissue. So when I would have aches and pains and tears, I had some shoulder issues, I definitely feel like the collagen for me worked great. So I'm a fan.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you for all of that. Now, the most incredible layer about you is that you don't just stem from one or two things. You pull from a lot of healing modalities, and like the wealth of knowledge that you share from your own experience to the plethora of information that you've been guided to and can enlighten us with about nutrition and holistic healing, you're also a great coach and trainer. What can you share with us about how movement can pull all of this together and just be the icing on the cake?
Absolutely. Thank you for saying all that. I appreciate it. I want to be able to give people all the tools and not just share things that have worked for me, but things that have worked for other people, and always encourage your own self-discovery. Because again, you can't cut and paste what works for me, put it in your life and know that it's going to work for you. It might, but even if that's what you do, which is totally fine, you have to always be open to putting your own spin on it. So same with working out. For me, I like to lift weights. I've never been a yoga person. I have more hyper energy. I also was into bodybuilding because doctors told me that Graves' disease is a muscle wasting disorder. And I said, I call bullshit, because so many other things you've said have been BS. I call BS on this. I don't believe that I cannot gain muscle. So I started weightlifting. I did exactly what they told me not to be doing. And not only did it build self-esteem, but I started building muscle. Go figure. I started building muscle, and my body had so much more energy, lower body fat. And I was like, this is for me. So again, you've got to be intuitive with things. You have to know, this is great for me. If you want to be an outdoor person and work out outside, and that brings your heart joy, then that's for you. And if you get sick of it and you want to try something else, then do it. So I believe in being intuitive, but there are kind of like basic things that I tell people, like fundamentals. So the first thing when you're doing a workout, so if we're just talking about workouts here, the first thing that you absolutely have to do is warm up your body. Your body is almost like, it's like a cold rubber band. When you walk into the gym or walk into Pilates or yoga, wherever you're working out, it's a cold rubber band, especially if you've just woken up in the morning. It is not stretched out, okay? But if you want to stretch it cold, it's going to snap. So you have to warm up your body. And what I really like about this is, like, for me, when I'm at home, I'm walking my dog, grand dog over there who's passed out. I guess I'm boring him. I'll walk him. Sometimes I'll turn on techno music at 4 o'clock in the morning, not too high, and I dance. I dance to warm up. I'm not really a treadmill person. So whatever it is that brings your heart and your body joy, and I found with thyroid is the throat chakra. Usually when people have thyroid problems, at some point, they have felt that they haven't been heard, that they haven't been able to express themselves, or they've chosen for whatever reason in their life to not be very vocal. For me, I'm very vocal, but I had times in my life I didn't feel heard. I express myself a lot through talking and through dancing and through music. So I recommend when you do a warm-up, think about, I'm going to say this so many times, what brings you joy? What brings you happiness? What makes your body and your mind feel good? If it's getting on a treadmill and staring at the news and running for 5 minutes, then cool, no judgment, but warm up your body. So for me, I would turn on my techno and I would dance, I would walk brownie, and then I would go to the gym. And another thing too, we all have a lymphatic system that needs to drain, okay? That's another way that we detox. So jumping up and down, dancing, or getting a rebounder, like a little trampoline is a really cool idea. Like your little kids have a little trampoline, get a rebounder, jump on it for 5 minutes. It drains your lymphatic system, so it's a great way to detox. And they say kids are usually so healthy because they're always jumping around and they're bouncing. And a lot of time, we as adults don't. When do you really jump around? When you go like this? Is anybody watching? Nobody looking at me? I'm going to jump around. We should be jumping around more. We should be jumping around, having fun, draining our lymphatic system. Again, knowledge is power. Have fun, but no, tell yourself, I'm draining my lymphatic system. I'm doing something healthy for myself. So it's that extra encouragement to keep it going and keep it as a routine. So after you do the warm-up, for me, when I was researching stuff, I was like, I love lifting weights. I could just lift weights and I would never get bored. But high intensity interval training. So high intensity HIIT training. Tabata is a great HIIT training. Tabata is an easy one to start with. You can get a timer on your app. You do 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, or set it for 45 seconds on, 10 seconds off, meaning 45 seconds of exercise, 10 seconds of rest. So something like this. Okay. So HIIT training, got my weights, HIIT training, I'll do with my weights because I like weights. So I'll do something like high intensity where I'm going to do a lunge with a bicep curl, okay? I'm going to do an alternating lunge with a bicep curl, okay? I'll do this 45 seconds, and then I'm going to pair it with, say, some punches, okay? I'm going to do punches, okay? Do that for 45 seconds. Then I'm going to put my weights down, and I'm going to rest. That's my high intensity interval, okay? I'm going to rest. I'm going to go back. Maybe I'm going to do jumping jacks with weights. Again, it's just because I like doing weights. I'm going to grab my weights and I'm going to do something really high intensity. And the point of high intensity and why it's so good for you is because high intensity gets your heart rate going. And when your heart rate goes, your metabolism goes, and it brings up your whole mood and your spirit, okay? You can do it with no weights. You can do it with bands. You can do it outside, inside. You can do it at the gym, but it's a high intensity. It's not, I'm at the gym, I lift my weights. Well, there's George. I'm going to talk to George for 5 minutes about life, about the weekend. Oh, gotta go. That's not high intensity. We all know those people at the gym. So you got to keep it high intensity. Warm up, jump around a little bit, do your high intensity interval training. It can be 10 minutes. Again, everything is cumulative. So 10 minutes every day by the end of the month, how many calories you're going to burn? It's not just about that though. How much muscle you're going to put on, how good you're going to feel. It will all add up. You don't have to be in there for an hour. Okay, and I got my list here. Oh, okay, so I had...
Emily, those were great. Those were awesome tips. I have some questions that came in. So before you get too ahead, I just want to just share with you. I had a question that came up about the collagen. I know we're kind of going back a little bit, but if you can for 1 second and I can just get some of your brain power. What is a collagen that you suggest? What is your favorite one that you suggest?
It is not called collagen by this brand name. So if I were to tell you the brand, you would see the name and go, what? It's Source Naturals. And this is whenever I recommend supplements, I will only recommend brands that I've done the research on the companies, the laboratories, and make sure that they have third-party testing. So there's oversight.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're getting is really good. Source Naturals collagen. It is called Arthred. Arthred. Arthred.
Got
And
it.
I don't know why it's called Arthred, but it's collagen.
Got it. I just wrote that in the comments for everyone, okay? So it'll be right there. Next question that came up was, do you have any suggestions to help eliminate metals or toxins from those survivors that went through radiation treatments?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's vegetable juices that you can do specifically to eliminate those from your body. So it's great to pair juicing with coffee enemas, and I'll tell you why. So there's a lot of herbs that you can add to your juices, cilantro being one of them. And you know what? I'm going to put together a good heavy metal detox juice and add it afterwards to your site. Okay. On my computer, I know I have a really good one, but the reason you want to pair it with the coffee enemas, so you're doing the detox, and again, remember perspiration, defecation, these are ways we eliminate. You have to sweat, work out, get those toxins out. You will do detoxes, heavy metal detoxes or radiation detoxes, feel sick, and sometimes even smell. I did a radiation detox. I thought I was going to die.
I've been there myself.
Yes. I was like, are you sure? I trust you.
What's coming out of me?
And she was like, no, you're really toxic with radiation, because they overdosed me. They said my thyroid was the size of almost the size of the credit card. I mean, it was hard to swallow. You could physically see my thyroid. It looked like an Adam's apple. So they overdosed me, just in case, because they didn't want me to have to come back. I said, gee, thanks. So I had so much radiation going through me when I did the detox, I got really, really, really sick. I had to kind of put it off, go slow with it. Then I did a second round. I felt a little sick the first couple days, but you will sometimes feel sick. So the detox through the coffee enema, it will eliminate those toxins faster. So your body has the opportunity to heal faster. Okay. So that was one thing that I was going to say. Where was it? Remove, repair, replace, or restore. Remove the toxins, repair with good food, good mentality, good supplementation. Okay. And then you replace all your toxic things in your house, all your foods, all the people that are bad, and make a new lifestyle. But you have to remove first. That's why we were saying earlier about someone does a juice cleanse, and that's great. But if you have all these toxins running through you, a couple of vegetable juices, you've never really done the deep cleaning. Here's the way I love visual. I'm a very visual person. If you have a hoarder's house, a hoarder's, we've all seen them in real life or on television, and it's a mess and it stinks. Do you come with a plug-in, put it in the wall, and go, problem solved? No. You have to cleanse. You have to take things out. You have to remove, and then you do your deep cleaning, and then you replace with all good stuff. And you say, okay, we're not going to hoard anymore. We're going to be healthy.
I love how you put that. That's such a great visual, great expression for us all to understand. That's good stuff.
Yeah,
great.
Good. I love visuals because I feel like they stick with you better. Your body's the same thing. If you've been putting crap in your body for so long, like if somebody, let's a simple analogy, somebody says, I want to lose 70 pounds. Okay, what's your time frame looking at? 3 months, my friend's wedding. Okay. How long have you been 70 pounds overweight? Oh, my whole life. Well, how do you expect to lose 70 pounds in 3 months? Like, do you think that's healthy? Do you think that's good? Do you think that's even feasible? Like realistic expectations, and being really good to yourself along the way. And again, you didn't get this way overnight. And that's a big overarching lesson for me.
Yes.
I gave myself Graves' disease. I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim of Graves' disease. It's not hereditary. I didn't, just all of a sudden become weak. I gave it to myself, my thoughts, the people in my life, the things I fed myself, the things I didn't feed myself, doing the wrong things, thinking the wrong things, putting work first, putting other people's feelings, asking for acceptance all the time, not forgiving people. Oh, boom, it will come crashing down like a badass game of Jenga on you. And you go, how'd that happen? You did it to yourself. That last one, it just fell then, but you built that. You built that. Whether you're healthy or you're sick, you built it. But you have to take ownership over that. And when you're in a sick place and you're in a bad place or a sad place, it's so hard to hear that. It's so hard. And you can get so angry at somebody telling you, you did it. But who else did? There's no boogeyman telling you what to think and you have to take personal responsibility over everything.
Absolutely. And another one of the most incredible things you've said today was patience and timing, and things don't just happen overnight. We didn't build Rome in, a day, but I bet every day they worked on Rome, they got a little more and a little more ahead. And now it's something amazing that people want to go visit. Well, not right now anyway. That's not the best one. But you get my point. And that is just it. That is the whole consistency key. And I really feel that when people stop trying to adhere to trends or the latest thing or that, they get out of that complicated implosion of information and they step to what's simple: nature, healing, thyself, truth, understanding. It's all right here. And really, like you said with the Jenga game, it's sometimes that one thing is what can make everything fall apart, but there were a lot of building blocks that got you there before you fell. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Emily, you are absolutely amazing. And I really know just by the volume of comments and questions that have come in today that you've really got some people thinking. And that's what this is all about. I Am Love is so grateful that you are able to donate your time and your passion and share with us who you are, because when you stand tall in that light and you allow the growth and the learning that has provided from your own personal experience to unfold and become a story that you share with us, it inspires us to do the same, to rise, to grow, to know. And I commend you for that. And I know personally I'm better than I was an hour ago. And I have a feeling everyone else is too. So thank you for giving your time and your space, because from that place of knowing, we now feel the empowerment to find those spaces within ourselves too.
Thank you.
And
so
when
much.
we are leading from that place of sharing, as I'm sure you're feeling, you're healing.
Yep.
And feeding that healing cycle is pretty darn cool.
And we're all together. And I have one more thing to share.
Yeah, please. Close us out, girl. Close us out.
Whole book. I was the other day just hanging out with my boyfriend. He was doing a little fishing, and I saw all these caterpillars. I already told you this story, Joanna.
Yes,
I saw all these beautiful caterpillars, and I just had that aha moment. It's so simple. Sometimes I'm like a little kindergartner. I was like, oh my gosh, all these caterpillars are going to become beautiful butterflies. And we talked about the cocoon and how they're in the cocoon and they're twisting and turning and they got to break out and they become this beautiful butterfly. And then, talk about being in alignment. One of my best friends, Faria, sent me this beautiful book. I didn't tell her about the caterpillars. And it's about a caterpillar becoming a butterfly through their struggle. And I haven't read it yet. I just got it yesterday.
Yeah, that's just it. We talk all the time about the journey. Well, the life cycle of a butterfly, comes out looking beautiful and flutters and flies effortlessly, right? Never notice how hard it is to catch one? Because that's not their job to be caught. Their job is to be released and to go and to fly. But the struggle inside that caterpillar, if you were to come and just cook it and then release it before it was ready, it would die because it wouldn't have the strength to fly. You get your strength in that struggle to break free and to come from that place of knowing I did it. And then you take off. So that book was a God wink. That was a God wink.
I was crying and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're so in alignment. Like, this is crazy. I think it's the perfect timing to be able to share, because I don't care who you are, where you live, we're exactly the same. Just because we haven't been through the same exact things, we're all on different little walkways on the same pathway. We all want love, acceptance, health. We all want the same things. So we are no different. And all you got to do is plug into the right people, watch the right news station, hang out with the right friends, eat the right food. There's not one answer, but once you find it and it feels good, that's your correct. That's your right path. And you're walking your right path while I'm walking my right path. And we might intersect, and I can tell you a little bit of something good, and you can tell me a little bit of something good, and we make each other better.
Just like we're doing right now.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Emily.
Thank you.
I hope that you come back and have some more chats with us.
I will.
And thank you from every bit of my being and all of ours everywhere around. We give you a virtual hug in light and love and gratitude. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us before we go today? Perhaps maybe how we can find you after this awesome, chat today. How can we find you, and how can we learn more about Emily and perhaps, get some time with you personally?
Absolutely. My name is Emily Reynolds. It's a very common name. So Instagram, it's Emily Reynolds WBFF PRO. Facebook, it's Emily Reynolds .921, because I'm the 921st Emily Reynolds on Facebook, and EmilyReynolds.net, my website, where you can always send me a message. And I respond to everybody. I respond to every single question, every single message that I get. So EmilyReynolds.net is a really easy one for people to remember and write down. And you can check out my blogs. It goes to my YouTube, where I talk about a lot of healing Graves' disease. Any way that you get to me, I'm going to get back to you. So, yeah. And I love dogs. You love dogs. You want to follow me.
Yes. Well, that's a whole nother set for itself. And I can't wait to share that part of you too. But for today, I think that we have really encapsulated some really great just wealth of wellness from you. And I really appreciate that share and all that you have to offer. I can't say it enough. Thank you so very much for being with us today. And stay tuned, because we'll be back for more.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. So I have answered and then left a lot of comments within answers to some of the bullet points that you said today. I left them in their comments. If anyone is looking for that information, you can find that in our comment section at our YouTube page, the I Am Love YouTube channel. And that's also where we are broadcasting from today as well. So for everyone from Facebook, our I Am Love private group, YouTube, and everyone from one galaxy to the next, I wish you all a beautiful day in health and wellness. Thank you again, Emily, and a big kiss. Mwah. I'll see you soon, sweetheart.
Bye.
Ciao, Bella. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.